Welcome to SV67D Principles of Management 1. My name is Felicia Frida and Aqua. We're going to be looking at session 6, Management and Organizational Performance. We're still focusing on the nature of management, Unit 1. By the end of this session, you should be able to differentiate between efficiency and effectiveness, and also differentiate between managerial performance and organizational performance. So let's get into business. I made mention from the start that when it comes to efficiency, we're looking out for input as against output. We're looking at effectiveness, we're looking at being able to achieve those targets. And so remember, in our earlier example I gave you, I told you that if you set yourself that you want to get an A for this course, and at the end of the semester when the result comes and you get an A, that means you've been effective in there as well. So when it comes to some differences between efficiency and effectiveness, one is that efficiency deals with doing things which are right. So at the end of the day, you want to do things rightly to get good results. But when looking at effectiveness, you're looking at actually doing the right thing. Now, doing things right and doing the right thing is two different concepts in there. We're saying that when we're looking at effectiveness, you're looking at the end result. At the end of the day, was I able to get my A or not? If you're able to get your A, that is what you being effective. But then we're looking at efficiency, then our focus is the process. How did you get your A? Did you get your A by asking for help doing your exams or doing your invigilations and all those things? Did you get your A by learning, going for lectures, getting your course books, doing your readings, participating in your study time, having your group work, doing your assignment properly? That is what we're looking out for, efficiency, doing the right things. But effectiveness is all about meeting your target, the end result in there. We're saying that another difference is that when we come to effectiveness, we're looking out for the actual output, which should be meeting the desired output or not. So like I said, you wanted to get an A. Were you able to achieve it or not? If you're able to achieve it, you've been effective. If you've not been able to achieve it, you've not been effective. So when we come to efficiency, then we're looking out for the ratio of input and output, and focuses on getting maximum output with the minimum input of resources there. Won't you be happy if you had just 5 cedis and then you are so hungry, but then you want to do something special, and with your 5 cedis you can still make your beans, your plantain, get some nice egg or something there, a little bit of nice gobe be there, you'll be happy. But you'll be also sad if you can also get your same gobe, but then the gobe will just be beans and gari, or just beans and oil. You won't be so happy. So at the end of the day, you realize that if you're able to get 5 cedis of special gobe, which you can get at least some small plantain, egg, and some beans with your oil and everything gari in there, you'll be happy than getting just your beans and oil for just 5 cedis. And so when it comes to efficiency, we're looking out for maximum output with the minimum effort or resources being put in there. Then when we're looking at effectiveness, we're also looking at quality measure. Yes, effectiveness is all about quality metrics. And then when we're looking out for efficiency, then we're looking at what? Productivity. How productive were you? Did you make the most of what you could do to really produce it? While you're looking at the input against output, or you were just being, mediocre in there? When we're looking at effectiveness, you're looking at doing the right things in the right ways at the right time. Because if you don't do things at the right time, you won't get the results. So you can imagine if you don't start the semester well, you're supposed to get your course books and things, you didn't get them, you waited till exams period, and you now want to cram everything you've learned for the whole semester or you've learned in the whole module in one sitting. That cramming, it may not work for you, and so you realize that you won't get your A or get your good grade. And so when it comes to effectiveness, it's about doing the right things in the right way at the right time. They matter in there. And when we come to efficiency, then we're looking out for what? Your ability to produce something without wasting what? Time and energy. So these are some key differences when it comes to efficiency and effectiveness, which you'd have to note down. So how when it comes to the business, effective management matters a lot. And so we're looking out for some of the importance. Why is it important for us to look out for effective management? One is that it helps us achieve our financial performance. There are financial goals and metrics we want to achieve by each sector or each time, and we need to be able to be effective for us to achieve those ones. You've paid school fees. At the end of the day, if you don't pass, you have to come and pay extra money, extra commitments, and all those things. You realize that it's going to make you worse off, and the economy is hard right now. And so at the end of the day, you need to be able to put in that effort to make sure you finish your course at the time you are supposed to finish, to avoid any extra financial precautions that may come up with it. You also need to be able to meet your customers' demands and values. Yes, your customers these days is about delighting them. And if you want to delight your customers, time matters. You tell a client, I'm going to finish like our typical handy people in Ghana, our tailors, our seamstresses. You tell the person, oh, I have, even when it gets into Christmas and those ones, it's worse off. So maybe you have a program coming up, it's 2 weeks or a month away. You know that your seamstress, she can delay by. You send your material to the person. Oh, I'm going to need this material in the next month for a special program I'm going. I want to detail this way. Give me the dress, this style, this style. You realize that sometimes you go there, even the day before, when they've told you that, oh, you come the day before. When you get there, the person has not even finished cutting, talk of sewing. Sometimes even on the day of the program, it is still not ready. Some of them even come give it back to you after the thing has elapsed. And so we need to be able to meet our customers' needs and values, because if it's not being met, you would find another option. Don't forget that customers, yes, you may be loyal, but at a point you switch. Especially when there are options or varieties in there, and you want to be able to grow with your customers and meet them all the time, to have that goodwill with them. You also need to provide quality products and services. It is very important. And so if you're going to produce quality products and services, then we need to be effective in there as well. So if you're very effective, we're going to be able to meet this as well. And then to be able to encourage innovation and creativity. Yes, innovation and creativity is very important if we want to meet our targets. You realize that this is a whole different level of teaching, which is supposed to augment your studies as well, to make it easy for you to be able to finish your educational curriculum before your time elapses. And so this is one of the innovation and creativity which your department is bringing to you to help augment learning at your side. And all of this is important because it helps us to be able to meet our goals or our targets together. It also gains employee commitment. Obviously, employees would always be happy to work at a place where they see that we are doing the work. Yes, so all those things gives morale to people and gains that employee commitment as well. So say that effective and successful managers, let's look at the difference between the two. So say that effective managers are defined in terms of quality and quantity standards of performance and the satisfaction and commitment of their subordinates. So at the end of the day, a manager may be said to be effective if at the end of the day the performance standards they set to achieve, they are being able to do it, and then their subordinates are also satisfied and having that level of commitment needed to get the work done. Then we're saying that these are effective managers. But when it comes to successful managers, they are defined operationally in terms of the speed of promotion within the organization. So there are some people who would come into the organization before you realize they've just moved up the ladder, accelerated all the way up. So you may start with someone on the field as a sales representative. Before you realize this person has moved from sales on the floor, going from one shop to the other, to being a sales agent or how do you call it, an R&M. And before you realize this person is the head of marketing, before you realize the person is going up to MD. Successful managers, we're looking at operationally, you're looking at the speed of promotion within the organization. So this is one major difference between the two terminologies in there as well. So what are the measures of effectiveness? How can we say someone is being effective, a manager is being effective or not? First is the strength and motivation as well as the morale of the staff. You realize from the earlier definition, we're talking about the subordinate satisfaction and commitment. That is one way to measure the effectiveness of a manager. Yes, so at the end of the day, just like the effectiveness of your teachers or your lecturers is done with the assessment the students would come up with. So every semester, UCC, DAPCA is in charge of that. They would ask the students, do you receive a course outline? Was it taught according to course outline? Was there something that was not taught? And all those things, the strength, the weakness of the lecturers, even the environment you guys had your lectures in, and all those things. That is going to give them a fair idea. And the quality of your subordinates is also telling us something about what's the manager. So at the end of the day, they are well motivated, they are having good morale, good commitment, good satisfaction, and that means the manager is doing a good job. And so that's a measure of effectiveness in there. The success of their training and development, which is the staff, is also a measure of effectiveness, and the creation of an environment within the organization where working staff are willing and effective. You don't need to force them. They should be willing enough. They should be more eager to do things for the company as they are supposed to do without you even wanting to give them that force. That is a measure of effectiveness as well. There are some difficulties in the measures of effectiveness. One is the level of staff or staff turnover. However, like I said, some difficulties in measuring effectiveness is one, the level of staff and staff turnover. These are sometimes a bit hard to control, especially in this era where everybody's looking for a better gig somewhere. So sometimes you employ someone today, within the next month or two or something, they get a better offer somewhere, they're just moving out in there. So you realize that staff turnover these days, it could be a bit high because everybody wants a better paying job or a better satisfying job somewhere. Sometimes it could be because of the systems in the company. It could come from us, it could come from the people themselves, but there's always a problem somewhere, and staff turnover can affect effectiveness in there, because don't forget that we need the people. And so if you have to spend more time training people and they just keep going out, how don't we achieve the effectiveness we want in there? The incidence of sickness, people would get sick. This is something you can't do away. sorry So this is something you can't do away with. People are going to get sick, people are going to be going on maternity leave and all those ones, and these are things that can affect effectiveness. Absenteeism is also there. Sometimes people will just not show up to work, or for some reason they may not be able to come to work and all those things, and these actually reduce the number of productive days or productive hours which we need to get the work done. Poor timekeeping. We made mention of time management as a key skill managers would have to look out for, because if time is not well kept, we won't be able to be effective in there. And sometimes too, it's a bit hard because of accidents that happen at work. There's organizational health and safety, but reality is sometimes things happen and then accidents happen, and then things have to halt for us to solve the issue on ground. And so these can actually make it a bit hard when we're measuring our effectiveness as a business as well. Other criteria for effectiveness is one, our ability to meet important deadlines. So at the end of the day, that let's say in the fifth week, that usually there may be some quiz assessments and all those things, or before exams your internal assessment should have been done. And so by that time, that they've given you a lot of assignments, you'd have to meet the deadline. For if you're able to meet those assignment deadlines, that at the end of the day you're on a good ground to get your A or B in the course you are doing. And there's also accuracy of work carried out by the department, which is perhaps measured by the number of recorded errors. So there's something we need to do. If the errors we are recording are few, then that means that yes, we are on point and we are doing well. If the errors are a lot, that means that there are things that would definitely delay us in that project. And then so the level of complaints received from superiors, department, customers, clients, suppliers, and the public. So you realize that if there are less complaints coming in, that means you are doing a good job that you should keep up with. But if there's lots of complaints coming in, then it means there's something wrong somewhere and we're not achieving our desired goals. Our customers are not being satisfied in there, which we'd have to check. Then also our adherence to quality standards, such as the amount of scrap and waste material. Yes, so for some industries, you even look at waste, the amount of waste you're supposed to do. These days, people are looking at ecological friendliness, and so carbon footage is coming in as a key thing most businesses have to look out for. And so you need to look out for how your standards in your business, the quality standards are meeting some of these world standards or even standards in the country or for your business, especially when it comes to even waste and scrap as well. Keeping up with the agreed costs and budget control limits. This is one challenge a lot of us face in our businesses, in our institutions. You were given a budget of 5,000 to work with for the semester, and before you realize what you are doing, you're ending up at 7,000, 8,000. It is not the best. So you should be able to keep up with the agreed cost and budgetary control limits to show how effective you are as well. So in this session, we've discussed the difference between efficiency and effectiveness and looked at some of the measures of effectiveness as well as some criteria if you want to look out for effectiveness as well. Thank you, and I'll see you in Unit 2. Thank you.